Hello, I'm Margaret Thompson, 32, returning to Detroit. During my parents' 25th anniversary party, 50 family members saw my father flash a smug smile. He raised his glass and cut me deep with well-rehearsed words, "You'll never amount to much." The room acted like they didn't hear. For years, he'd taken my successes, labeled them his mentorship. That night, something in me broke free rather than folding. I chose to unveil his hidden betrayals. The party wasn't a festivity, it was my turning point. You won't believe what unfolded when I finally spoke up. This time, I refused to leave in silence. I grew up on Maple Street, suburban Detroit, sandwiched between two brothers. Routine and tradition boxed us in. My dad, Frank, ran a factory floor. My mom, Helen, typed up minutes. Dreams were measured by paychecks and sensible shoes. At 8, I hunted curbs for discarded VCRs and computers, laying their circuits on old papers, deciphering their paths. 3 months later, my basement computer blinked alive with a cursor. I rushed upstairs, thrilled to share my tiny triumph. Frank didn't glance up, his beer leaving wet rings, his paper rustling a warning. "Girls don't need computers, Margaret. Go help your mom." His words stabbed deeper than a blade through plastic. In high school, I coded an inventory system from scratch, predicted shortages, optimized orders, cut waste with meticulous math. I took first at regionals, earned a state spot, got a small newspaper photo. Dad missed it for overtime, dismissed contests as not real life. At home, he slept. My ribbon sat in silence. My counselor urged MIT. I hid applications like forbidden treasure. Frank pushed community college, a secretarial track, sensible futures only. Girls don't become engineers. Be realistic. Stop dreaming. I applied anyway, bagging groceries, tutoring, writing essays past midnight. MIT's acceptance arrived with a 60% scholarship and trembling hands. Frank called it debt for a degree I'd never use. My brothers got praise for business plans and garages. I learned applause wasn't coming. I learned to journal, keep records, dates, truths that don't vanish. At 18, I packed 2 suitcases and a blue ribbon. Boston felt sharp, terrifying, like stepping onto clear ice. For once, brilliance wasn't strange, ambition wasn't unfeminine. Still, Frank's voice crossed states, haunting my lectures. Don't get carried away. Pass your classes, get a job, stop chasing miracles. I should have known approval wouldn't come with a diploma. I should have seen the next theft coming, wearing my last name, smiling for neighbors. But I wasn't ready for how far he'd go. MIT sharpened me like Winterhone's glass. Small dorm, big hunger, labs humming past midnight. I learned to debug unflinchingly, to question precisely. Junior year, a problem sank its claws in me. Warehouses losing cash due to guesswork over math. I tracked patterns through logs like footprints in fresh snow. Built an algorithm that heard better than managers. It accounted for seasonality, promos, shocks, each factor finely tuned. Pilot slashed waste by 30%. My advisor said, publish, maybe patent. I called home, craving a witness for my good news. "Dad, it works. Shelves stay full." He grunted. "Every student thinks their project changes the world. Pass your classes. Get a job. Quit chasing miracles." So, I kept building, stitching nights with ramen and proofs. At a conference, industry folks asked for my card. I had none, just a cheap folder and fire. 6 months later, Mom's cautious voice, "Don't be mad at your father." Trouble brewed. Frank had shared his warehouse idea with his friend Bill. They implemented a system like mine. Bill thanked Dad for the brilliant fix. The room spun like a faulty elevator. Did he say it was mine? Silence. He didn't want to complicate things with college projects. I confronted him. He laughed. Academic theory. I made it practical for business. I improved you. That algorithm was months of my proofs, not his tale. I printed drafts, dated commits, emails, receipts, stored them in a box labeled property. Do not edit. New rule. Guard your work. Some thieves share your bloodline. Senior year, I shipped code, grades, boundaries, graduated summa, Packed 2 suitcases and a vow. San Francisco buzzed like live voltage. Small team. Real users, we listened to their pain breathe. I rewrote core tools. Crashes fell, clients stayed. Janet slid a promotion over, smiling. I called home. Habits tough muscle. Frank minimized me, then bragged to neighbors. 2 tails, 1 mouse, chasing shinier applause. I launched Thompson Database Solutions from my kitchen table. Stubborn founder, stubborn results. 12 restaurants, then more. Spreadsheets turned living systems. Trade magazines called. We grew. I bought a house. Frank called it a money pit. Paper profits, then waved the magazine, claiming mentorship. Pride in public, dismissal in private, his axis. I kept receipts, kept moving. Momentum's quiet until someone tries to halt it. And someone always had a toast and a blade ready. I thought the algorithm theft was his worst. I hadn't seen how far his fiction spread, how many ears he'd trained to clap on cue. The anniversary gave me the mic. I was ready. Growth surged, referrals, contracts, late night lights. A trade magazine featured us. Clients called me founder. But back home, a different story toured. Aunt Carol sent a church bulletin. Frank Thompson, mentor to his tech entrepreneur daughter, Margaret. It claimed he'd shaped my business plan from day one. None of it true. Uncle Raymond texted a plant newsletter photo. Dad with a plaque for lean innovation, warehouse efficiency. The idea was my junior year algorithm. I called Mom. Why is he credited for my work? Silence. He likes the sound of it, she said. I can't keep correcting him when people applaud. Neighbors tagged me, praising Dad's business sense. Relatives congratulated us for the company we built. History was rewritten with his name in the margins. I flew to Detroit for the anniversary party. 50 guests, catering, flowers, jazz trio. I paid deposits, planned seating, hid cords. Dad loomed like a foreman over another's work. To the florist, I picked Helen's colors myself. To the caterer, keep the ribs, my idea. If a sentence began with I, he claimed it. Credit was his constant coat. In the den, a manila folder sat on a chair. Anniversary talking points, Frank. My name appeared 6 times by page 2, woven with erasure. Margaret's always been a dreamer. High-tech toys, costly lessons. I kept her grounded, mentored her through storms, told her when to pivot. Real success comes from practical men, steady hands. A script for theft, dressed as love. I shut the folder, inhaled. That night, I printed what I'd avoided. Science fair clipping, MIT letter, conference program, client emails, dated contracts, option grants, Dad's plaque beside my abstract. I sleeved them, tabbed like evidence, not to shame, but to pierce his myth. Truth needs air, paper's its breath. If memory falters, timestamps don't. I rehearsed once, shut the binder, not a speech, just coordinates to reality. Tomorrow, the room would hear 2 Margarets, his polished, paternal lie and my inconvenient truth. I was no longer his victory lapse footnote. I was the author, stepping onto my page. By 6, the house glowed like memory. String lights, soft jazz, 50 plates awaiting a toast. Frank clinked his glass. 25 years and a lesson on success. He praised my brother's practical careers, steady hands, real work. Then his eyes locked on me like a spotlight. Margaret's a dreamer, he said. High-tech toys, not real work. She'll never amount to anything substantial. Forks froze. Helen stared at the floor. I stood, binder in hand, breath even. If we're doing truth, I said, let's do all of it. Don't make a scene, he hissed. You made it, I shot back. I faced the room. You've heard his version for years. Here's mine with dates to prove it. High school science fair, blue ribbon. He called it trivial, skipped it. MIT acceptance, scholarship. I worked 2 jobs to cover the rest. He said women don't belong there. Conference abstract for my inventory algorithm. He gave it to Bill, who thanked him loudly. Magazine spread on my San Francisco team. He called it hype to me, then bragged he mentored it. Plant newsletter, his plaque for lean innovation. That was my junior year algorithm. Ask my advisor. Timestamps don't stutter or forget. Frank tried. She's emotional. I countered, correct, not confused. For 2 decades, he belittled me privately, then wore my work publicly like a fitted suit. If you think I'll never amount to anything, Dad, stop telling people you built me. The room exhaled. Uncle Raymond said, I'm sorry I believed him. Aunt Carol nodded, eyes wet. We all did. Frank mumbled, maybe I misspoke. I was proud. Helen stood. That wasn't pride. It was manipulation for years. My brother stepped up, awkward but honest. We should have spoken up, David said. We didn't know, Michael added. Frank tried one last angle. I prepared you for the real world. I replied, I built one. You took the credit. I closed the binder, firm, not loud. From now on, no stolen stories about my work. No fake mentorship, no edits, no myths. Speak truth or stay silent. No applause, just truth settling in small groups. I packed the documents. Helen squeezed my hand, permission given. Frank stared at the glass he'd raised to wound me. It looked small in his practiced hand. At the hallway photos, my caption, good with computers, sat like a shrug. Rewrite it, I told Helen softly, or remove it. Outside, the Michigan night stopped pretending to be gentle. I didn't run or cry. I chose the door, not an exit, but an entrance I'd delayed for years. I thought speaking up would end it. I should have known the aftermath would try to rewrite me again. Next morning, my phone buzzed. Missed calls, cautious texts, a long note from Aunt Carol. Frank posted nothing. For once, silence was true. I sent one email, short, dated, saved. If my work is mentioned, tell the truth or leave my name out. No interviews on my behalf, no mentorship claims. Any repeat needs public correction. This is final. I didn't wait for replies. I went to work. We signed 2 clients before lunch. The team cheered. I ordered pizza, raised a paper cup, and exhaled, not victory, but clarity, the freedom of being fully named. That week, I flew back to San Francisco lighter. I met our interns, 3 women from Detroit schools. We sketched database schemas and talked about gatekeepers' voices. Keep notes, keep receipts, keep your spine, I told them. Helen called Sunday from a quiet kitchen. I changed the caption. She said, voice steady, almost proud. Now it reads, Margaret, engineer. Founder, the one who built. Sometimes love arrives late, but still finds the door. Frank didn't apologize. He adjusted, less boasting, fewer edits. Boundaries aren't punishments, they're manuals for staying human. I learned approval can be a leash with a bow. Cutting it isn't cruelty, it's walking your own pace. I stopped auditioning for a father who wanted understudies. I stopped shrinking to fit his frame. When relatives asked what happened, I told it plain, not rage, but records, not gossip, but gravity. The truth holds. At night, I kept the binder on the shelf, visible, closed. I don't reread it to hurt. I keep it like a fire extinguisher, hoping it stays unused, grateful it's there. If you're living under someone's narrative, listen. Your work isn't their costume. You can love and leave, forgive and still deny access. You can draw a line and call it home. What broke me wasn't one toast, one sentence, one room. It was years of being unnamed. What remade me was simple, stubborn repetition. Say your name, your work again. I'm Margaret Thompson. I built this with both hands. The door I chose wasn't an exit, it was an entrance. There's space here for anyone ready to be whole. Bring your notes, your breath. I saved you a chair. If you face stolen credit, a dismissed voice, a bent story, you're not alone. Share in the comments below. Have you ever had to reclaim your name? Like, subscribe to my channel, and share this with someone who needs a spine.